What's good, y'all? We are 2 games into the NBA Finals, and so far it has been a pretty dominant performance by the Boston Celtics. As you guys know, they are up 2-0 against the Dallas Mavericks. And with the series going down to Dallas for Game 3, it's got me hoping that that can spark a little bit of life into the Mavericks to get this series back to being competitive. But it's got me kind of wondering, is this series over? So I wanted to use this video as an opportunity to just talk about what I'm seeing so far throughout these first 2 games and what I could see going forward and predict going forward for both of these teams. And I want to start by talking about a guy that has been very polarizing in these first 2 games of the finals, and that is, of course, Jason Tatum. You have some people that look at his scoring struggles and say that he is ass and that he is, not the best player on the Celtics. I know Jason Kidd kind of sparked that convo a little bit himself, but you have a lot of people that are really being hard on Jason Tatum for his scoring troubles. And then you have the other people that are looking at the rest of his game and saying, well, he's playmaking well, he's defending well, rebounding well, impacting the game in other ways. He's still having a solid performance. And I'd say that I fall kind of in the middle of that. Obviously, his scoring troubles have been really apparent. I think he's shooting under 35% from the field in the finals so far. The first game, he had a super inefficient 16 points, and then he follows that up with a super inefficient 18 points. And the thing is, he's missing easy shots that he routinely makes. There has been, especially in game 2, I counted maybe 4 or 5 open layups that he just missed, whether it was too hard off the glass or he put a little too much spin on it and then it rimmed out. It's not a shot selection issue for Jason Tatum. It's not like he's taking those sidestep threes and those mid-ranges and stuff like that. He's getting to the rim. He's getting the shots that he wants. He's just missing, and that makes me think that in these next few games, he's going to kind of regress to the mean, or that positive regression back to where he hits all of these shots and has a super efficient, high-scoring game. But even beyond his scoring troubles, like I said, he is impacting the game in different ways, and it's a big reason of why the Celtics are still able to pull out these games versus the Mavericks. I want to start by talking about his playmaking because, like I said, he's getting to the rim and he's just missing his shots. What he's also doing when he gets to the rim is passing out. He's collapsing the defense when he gets to the paint and making the right read to the corner or to the kick out. He had a few nice dump down passes to Jrue Holiday, which we'll talk about Jrue Holiday a little bit later too. He is being a great playmaker right now. He realizes his shot's not falling. Let me impact in other ways. And I think that shows a big improvement in Jason Tatum, because if you asked me a few years ago if Jason Tatum could have, 12 plus assists in a finals game and impact the game as good as he did offensively while shooting so inefficiently, I probably would have told you no. But for him to come out here and have 12 assists with only 3 turnovers while being, majority a score-first guy, very impressive. And then also, like I said, his rebounding and defense has been there as well. The Celtics defensively, so they get their centers out of pick and rolls. They've been putting him on the centers. So Jason Tatum's having a lot of time guarding guys like Daniel Gafford. So him showing that extra effort rebounding is very important so Dallas doesn't keep getting these offensive rebounds. And I saw that JT was the betting odds favorite to win Finals MVP. Honestly, I probably wouldn't have him as Finals MVP. I would probably give that to Jaylen Brown through these first 2 games. I usually wait to the end of the video to ask you guys these questions, but if you had to give a letter grade on how good Jason Tatum's played so far, what would you give him? I'd probably give him maybe a B minus, C plus range. He's doing good, but his scoring definitely could be way better. Luckily for Celtics fans, even though JT has been going through his struggles, the rest of the Celtics have been definitely stepping up. Starting with, as I mentioned before, Jaylen Brown. He has had 2 terrific games so far, especially game 1 where he came out super efficient, and even his defensive intensity was there too. He had the nice 22 points, but then he had 3 steals and 3 blocks, picking up Luka half court, pickpocketing him to get those easy dunks off. He played absolutely incredible. Another guy that kind of stole the show a little bit, stole a little bit of Jaylen Brown's thunder, Kristaps Porzingis in his return for game 1. Man, oh man, was Kristaps on one. He was really excited to come back to playing NBA basketball, as I'm sure you guys can tell, because he had a super efficient 20 points. Every time they switched a smaller guy onto him, he would get down to that, elbow free throw line, shoot right over him. His deep threes were starting to come out, blocking shots. He was literally doing everything. he turned back into Porzingis God that, you know, us Knicks fans love to used to watch. As soon as KP was on the floor for the Celtics, you could feel his impact on both sides of the court, and there's not many players that you could really say have that. And even beyond those two guys, the Celtics just had an all-around even team contribution because they had 6 players in 10 plus points, and they were one Sam Hauser bucket away from making that 7 players in 10 plus. And this theme of all-around team contributions continued in game 2. You know, of course, Jaylen Brown, he had his incredible game of 21 with 7 assists, super efficient still as well, defensively showing his impact. We already mentioned Jason Tatum and his playmaking, almost triple-double that he had. Derek White had 18 points in this one with the game-winning block. You could say it was a foul, you could say it was clean. I'm not here to make that decision. They didn't call it a foul, so it was a game-saving block in that. But the number one guy that I really want to talk about that stood out in game 2 was Jrue Holiday, their leading scorer. He had 26 with 11 rebounds. Oh, and I forgot, he shot 78% from the field while doing that too. 26 points, shooting 78% from the field. I don't know if I ever mentioned this in a video or tweeted about it or anything, but I remember watching the Celtics earlier in the regular season and thinking that Jrue Holiday, he doesn't play point guard or shooting guard like he's listed on their roster. He plays small forward for the Celtics. I would say a good 70% of the time, Jrue Holiday is playing off the ball, spotting up for 3 in those corners where he was incredible. But also, he knows when to cut. He gets a lot of his offenses off those cuts, as we saw here in game 2. And another big chunk of where he gets his offense is the dunker spot. It's a little weird. Like I said, you wouldn't really think you put your point guard or shooting guard in that dunker spot. But the Celtics put small forward Jrue Holiday in that spot, and he runs it to perfection. I mentioned it a little bit when talking about Jason Tatum, but there were a few super easy buckets that Jrue Holiday got from Jason Tatum getting to the paint, and then he just dumped it off to him, easy layup. Or he was out in the corner, he got it kicked out, pump fake, drive to the basket, little flip shot in. You know, he was playing perfectly off the ball. Wherever the ball got to him, he made decisive moves, knew exactly what he was trying to do with it, and executed. And in a game where the Celtics barely broke 100 points, they had 4 players score 18 or more. Like I said, complete team contribution from this team. They really just have too many options to stop them all. If you throw the house at Jason Tatum and he's playing really inefficient, then Jaylen Brown's gonna come in. If you finally figure out a way to stop him, you gotta figure out Derek White and Porzingis and Jrue Holiday and Al Horford. Like, they just have a bunch of different guys that can just score, and they all play off each other perfectly. They play as a team, and it makes it really, really hard to stop, especially when they have the ball on offense. They pretty much just say, Luka, where are you? Right there. Yo, come set this pick. Yo, let me switch on to you. All right, now let me just drive by you, because that's literally what happened damn near every single possession. Luka, I get he has to do all this stuff on offense, and we're going to talk about him a little bit more when we talk about the Dallas Mavericks, but the fact that he just goes out there and gets blown by almost every single time really hurts your team's defense. I know, rocket science right there. But you got to stay in front of your man, or at least give some type a little bit more effort, because Luka will get blown by, forces the help to come. Now they're just in scramble mode, and that plays directly into the Celtics' hands, because they are one of the best playmaking, passing, and shooting teams in the whole league. That's what got them there with this offense, is they go next, make the next pass, finally get the open shot, pull up 3, and it's probably going to be cash. And I don't know who originated the saying, but the saying goes around the basketball world: the series doesn't start until the away team wins the game. And if you go by that, you know, the Dallas Mavericks, all they got to do is just protect home court. They got to win these 2 games at home. Can they do it, though? That's the real question. And if I'm basing my answer to that on how Luka's been playing so far, I would say they do have a chance. Luka, scoring-wise, has been absolutely incredible, scoring 30-plus points in both of these games. This game 2, he had a triple-double, 30, 11, and 11. 57% from the field, too, is insane. You know, it seemed like in game 1, he started off a little slow, but then he started to get his momentum down and was starting to hit his shots, get to his spots, and all that. He finished with 1 assist, which it blows my mind. I remember watching that game, and it was like 5 minutes left in the 4th quarter, and they said that the Mavericks as a team had, I think it was like 6 assists or something. Absolutely unheard of, especially for a team like the Mavericks, who, you know, have a guy like Luka that's incredible playmaker. Kyrie Irving, great passer. As a team, they have just great synergy, and they move the ball around. For them to have just 6 assists, crazy. But in game 2 for Luka, he pretty much had everything going on all cylinders. It started off in the first quarter where he just absolutely boomed scoring-wise. He was hitting these crazy turnaround one-legged mid-ranges. His three-point shot was there. He was getting to the rim. The free throw line he was really struggling on. I don't know what was good with him, but he was missing a lot of free throws. And he also was able to get his playmaking going a little bit more in this game too as well. Like I mentioned, the 11 assists. 8 turnovers definitely is not what you're looking for, though. He had some very questionable ones sometimes where he just seems like he didn't realize there was help coming and he got doubled and just picked away. Or there's this one turnover that's just engraved in my brain right now. He got to the paint, didn't really know what he was going to do with the ball, but already picked up his dribble, so he kind of literally just threw it behind his head, and it was directly to Jaylen Brown, started a fast break, and they were out. Turnovers like that, Luka, you're going to have to cut out. I know it's hard to really critique him because he's been realistically one of the only Mavericks that really showed up so far. But, I mean, when you're going up against a team like the Celtics, you got to be damn near perfect. And since I mentioned the Mavericks not really showing up, I might as well go down the list real quick. PJ Washington, he has been kind of solid. He's shown, some good finishing throughout these games. But a lot of his offense is kind of neutralized due to the fact that his three-point shooting absolutely fell off a cliff. First game, he was 0 for 3. The second game, he was 1 for 5. Like I said, he can't really be good offensively without adding that spacing for the Mavericks. That's a huge part to their offense, is spacing it out. Same thing could be said about Derrick Jones Jr. He, from shooting-wise, has been atrocious. Even from inside the arc, he's been pretty bad. In game 1, he got blocked like 3 or 4 times. Game 2, he was a little bit better, but still, same thing with PJ. If you're not stretching out the floor and giving spacing to Luka and Kyrie, your offense is kind of neutralized there. And speaking of a guy that's been neutralized offensively, Dereck Lively, man, it really hurts my heart to say this, but he has been so bad throughout these finals games. I know he's a rookie. I know he's 20 years old, younger than me. I'm a big Dereck Lively fan, so before you guys get mad in the comments or whatever, I want him to do good. He just hasn't been able to do good. First game, he was in foul trouble a bunch. This second game, he just doesn't seem like he can grab the ball and finish. He seems just flustered and rushed, which, again, he's a rookie. I guess that's kind of expected, but it really does hurt the fact that he was such a big part to this Dallas Mavericks offense, and he's just been non-existent. A little bit of a bright spot for the Mavs, though, has been Daniel Gafford. He has been pretty good. First game, he went perfect from the field on, low attempts. The second game, he had a little bit more attempts and still shot well. Kind of going into that third quarter, it seemed like they really tried to exploit Jason Tatum being matched up against Daniel Gafford, where he would kind of get really low in the post. Luka would just dump it down, and he'd make a quick move. That's all we really need. We don't need him to make, dribble, then get to his spot, drop step or whatever. Just get deep, low position, and just do a little flip up, little dunk, whatever. That would seem to work a little bit, and I'm interested to see if the Mavericks try that more, considering he has such a big size advantage on a guy like Jason Tatum. But the number one most disappointing player on the Mavericks so far has been Kyrie Irving, and this is another guy that really pains me to say because I'm a big Kyrie fan. He just has not been good. The efficient scorer, the skilled scorer that we all know him as, just hasn't really shown up. His shooting has been terrible. He has yet to hit a 3 so far in the series. He's missing his, he'll get to his spots in the mid-range and just clank it off the rim. He'll get to the rim and not really finish like we're used to him seeing. Like it's just, he seems off. Even his handle has been a little questionable, and I know that's weird saying that about Kyrie Irving, but there's been a few times where he just gets the ball poked away. I know there's this one possession, Jaylen Brown was guarding him, poked it away, then forced him to travel with the ball. He's been dribbling it off his foot a few times and having to go recollect the ball. It's just been really weird for Kyrie, and he is the second most important player on this team besides Luka Doncic. If he's not scoring efficiently and getting into his offensive bag, the Mavericks have damn near no shot to win a game. They need him to have an efficient 24 to 27 points per game if they really want to win this series. I do have confidence in the Mavericks to come out in Game 3 and really set a statement here and win at home. It just depends on what they do after that, if that is what happens. What they do with that momentum, can they help build that up to win a Game 4 and maybe even get into a Game 5 with some of that momentum as well. Shout out to D Mills of the Numbers on the Board podcast. He likes to always say that the role players play better at home. we're going to need to see that from PJ Washington and Derrick Jones Jr. We're going to need them to get some more confidence shooting so they can go into game 4 and game 5, game 6, if that, extends that long, and shooting with confidence and being able to knock down that three-point shot. Very important to this Mavericks offense. Kyrie Irving, same thing goes for him. Can he, now that he doesn't have the hostile Boston crowd just booing him every time he touches the ball, can he get himself going offensively and start to hit those shots we're used to him seeing? It's going to definitely be an uphill battle for sure, but my original pick was Mavs in 6. If you had to ask me right now, I'm probably going to lean a little bit towards the Celtics, but I still think it's possible. I have faith in Luka Doncic. Kyrie, man, I'm begging you to turn it around. Again, these role players, hopefully they can get themselves going as well and get this Mavs team back on track to have a competitive series. What have you guys thought so far of these first 2 games? Is it over for the Mavericks? Has the Celtics already wrapped it up? Or do you think they can make the comeback? Let me know down in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave it a like, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. In the description, there's links to all my social medias, so make sure you follow me on all those to keep up to date with me. Catch y'all.